next 2 weeks, we'll be breaking down the wall between the TV studio and our social media newsroom. So whether you're with us on this channel or on the CGTN app on your mobile devices, you have 360-degree coverage of the events. I'm now joined by my colleague Wang Tongxuan here in the studio and CGTN's new media editor Marco Chan. Marco, let me start with you. What do you have for us today?
Thank you, Zhongshi. Hello, and this is Marco from CGTN Digital. Now, this year's 2 session is well underway in Beijing. And here in the digital department, we want to involve you in our programming. So as you know, one of the most distinctive features of digital media is the ability to interact. We can reach out to our audience, and you can also reach out to us instantly. So in our annual special program for the 2 sessions, Ask China, we invite our millions of followers on social media to raise questions directly to high-ranking officials for answers. And this year, we've collected many interesting, insightful, and even funny questions from around the world. Also, we asked over 100 people from 12 different countries. What's your impression of China? And if you want to ask China a question, what would that question be? And of course, we've also collected questions from social media platforms where we engage with you, our audience, who we are so important. I think the spirit of the 2 sessions is essentially the same because it's a time when people raise their questions and proposals to the Chinese government to promote legislative progress. So, if we have piqued your interest, use the hashtag AskChina to find out more. Later on, I'll also put some of the questions we've gathered early on to our guests in the studio. So let's hand back to our TV host Tongxuan for more.
Thank you, Marco, for that. China's annual political sessions are now in full swing, and you won't want to miss out our special coverage, including our original series of reports in today's program. Our biz anchor Chen Lei will bring us the first episode of CGTN Observes. She takes an in-depth look at the status of China's economy. Is it really slowing down, or what are the spins and facts? Another series of CGTN Listens. Today, Guan Yang, our reporter based in northeastern China's Liaoning province, will focus on how winter sports are helping to transform the local economy. Yes, 2022 is not that far from us. That's when Beijing will host the Winter Olympics. CGTN Global Business, airing at 4 p.m. Beijing time, will launch its special segment, China Ecom Survey. They've got insight from renowned economists. So, what do they say about China's economy today? Is it a good time to invest? What are the gold mine industries? And tomorrow, Tuesday morning, Chinese Premier Li Keqiang will deliver a government work report, which is expected to unveil China's goals, policies, and development plans for this coming year. What will be the GDP target? How will the country maintain steady growth amid downward pressure? CGTN's live coverage of that will kick off at 8 a.m. Beijing time, so stay tuned for that. And of course, you can always check us out on social media platforms, Zhongshi.
Tongxuan, absolutely. And as the country really zooms in on those political meetings, usually there are also stories, trending stories on the sidelines of the meetings that also get their fair share of attention. What are some of those trending stories this year?
Sure, Zhongshi. Let me begin by introducing inspiring young Chinese migrant workers. Well, his name is Chai Shanshan. 15 years ago, he moved out of his hometown in Hubei province alone and got a job in Shanghai as a postman. Today, he's about to walk into the Great Hall of the People as an NPC deputy. He said he has witnessed the rapid change of China's express deliveries industry, and his experience in many ways mirrors those of the country's 300 million other migrant workers. They are eager to learn and to work for the better life. Tune in to CGTN's China 24 for the whole picture of this story, which airs at 8:15 p.m. Beijing time. Another hotly debated topic is China's 5G technology. Just yesterday, a national political advisor working in the telecommunications sector said 5G smartphones will be available in China in the second half of this year, and this can be widely used next year with amazing download speeds. So far, more than 20 provinces in China have conducted 5G trials, and actually CGTN's digital team for the very first time did a live feed via the 5G network yesterday. So let's turn to Marco, my colleague, to see how it went. So Marco, the past few years we're talking about the testing and developing this technology, are we really at the time now to start demonstrating its applications?
Well, I mean, I got to admit that I wasn't there yesterday when the live stream happened, but I talked to one of my colleagues there who actually did the live stream. Well, since the technology hasn't been rolled out commercially, we still can't say too much. But it definitely was the first time that CGTN broadcasted in 5G, and it was a big moment. This will be a technology which will soon mean faster speeds and better connections for everyone. Let's back to one of the questions we gathered earlier for our studio guest, Professor Zhao. And so as we gather many questions from online, from the social media, there's been a lot of interest, there's been a lot of curiosity about the perspective of the Chinese economy this year. So Professor Zhao, the first question I would like to raise to you is can you please tell us what is the direction of the Chinese economy this year?
Marco, that's a good question, and let me pick up from here. Professor Zhao, the Chinese economy is one of those recurring topics year after year that is high on the minds of NPC deputies and CPPCC members. We should be able to hear more details from the government work report later, but just based on your predictions, how will China's economy perform this year?
Well, this year marks a very important year since where we achieved the first 100 goal, and we stabilized the economy. And the end of last year, the Central Committee, we have the Central Economic Meeting, and we have set the target and to stabilize the employment, investment, finance, trade, and for investment, also most important expectation, so that we will give good expectation for the future. Since we have this the supply side reform and the innovation. You can see for this year we will have the Science and Technology Board of lots of new company will register in the stock market. So that promotes the innovation, and this innovation leads the growth. So it's the little change and the change the pattern of the economy.
All right, Professor Zhao, thanks so much for your insight. Do stay with me here on our program. Now, Marco, I believe you have another question that is provided to you through our social media platforms.
That is correct. Since we did this street interviews as well as online survey from across the world, and there's been a lot of interest in invest in China, because China also introduced a new foreign investment law probably this year. And so there's been a lot of interesting and people asking, what will China do this year to help those foreign investors?
Well, that's right. The draft foreign investment law will be submitted to the MPC, which is set to open tomorrow. And once it's adopted, it will replace the current existing 3 individual laws, whether it's on joint ventures or pure capital-founded firms. So, Professor Zhao, will this new law help attract more foreign investment and help to protect foreign investors' interests and rights?
Tongxuan, that's such a hot topic. Professor Zhao, you were here during the press conference. Actually, one of the reporters put this question to the spokesperson today. And in what way do you think that will protect foreign investors' rights and interests?
Well, I would say this law is a milestone for China's investment, and this we dramatically reduce the so-called this restriction to categories of different investment, and we simplify this from a very long list, the negative list, to a very short. Now, currently, totally just 48, and we don't have the we encourage, we restricted, or whatever. So that give a common field, and that promotes competition and easy access, and they use the Chinese market to attract the foreign investment, not use the perhaps the policy to attract this. And since China is now the world's second-largest economy and also world's largest domestic consumption market, so we suppose that they will have attracted more and more investment here, since they need to grow with Chinese market.
A lot of attention, both from home and abroad, on that draft law, and especially against the backdrop of the U.S.-China trade tensions. Professor Zhao, I want to thank you so much for staying with us today. We appreciate your insight. You are watching Global Watch on CGTN. Our coverage continues right after this. And as this year's two sessions begins, CGTN anchors are presenting their observations on hot issues happening in China. Today, we focus on the country's economic growth.
China's growth target, probably the most focused